What's up, everybody? I just wanted to hop on for a second to talk a little bit about something that came across my mind. I happened to be scrolling on social media, and I came across a profile of a white guy I went to school with. We went to like middle school together, high school, on through high school, or at least we went to different schools, but we still hung around the same group of people. But I'm looking through his pictures, over the years, and you see how each other grow up, because everybody I grew up with or went to school with are nearing 40 or already over 40. So you see the projection over time, just new things in life, having kids, getting married, or relationships and stuff. But I made a note, he's a white guy, and he looks more white than what I remember. And when I say he looks more white, I mean like he was definitely more into the urban hip hop hood even aesthetic while we were growing up. From the way he lined his beard even to his haircut, his presentation was more, you attribute more to urban, urban aesthetic. And now he just looks like a white guy with the poofy wavy hair and the fuller beard and his white baby. And now there's nothing wrong with being white, but it's just an observation I made. When I was growing up, I grew up in a pretty ethnically mixed area. The black kids in the middle with the white kids. You have some Asians and Hispanics. We ran the whole gamut. But we were middle class, lower middle class, but it was like a good hybrid, because you had people who were in the nicer neighborhoods and people who grew up in neighborhoods like I was, where the homes were older, but that was our neighborhood. But a lot of the white guys I grew up with kind of leaned more into the urban aesthetic. And we were real good friends, and that's not why we were friends. We went to school together. These were my friends, but just their presentation oftentimes favored the hood element, the urban element. But then as they grow up, it's like they embrace more of the, your stereotypical white culture. And let's be real. Let's not, before somebody come in and comment, oh, when you think white, you have an idea. When you think black or hood or urban, you have an idea. When you think, we all have an idea of what these words mean and what these aesthetics are. So let's be adults about that. And have an honest conversation about it. And these white guys, oftentimes had a more urban aesthetic while we were growing up, and now they're older, starting their own families and doing it, living their lives and stuff like that. They definitely present more of that middle class white. And I just find it interesting, if not curious. And also a little, wondering what it's like to be able to put that down at your leisure. Because obviously, unless this is just truly you, honestly, it's probably a great advantage to be that, when you're young, and probably to the dismay. It's probably just rebellion. Rebellion typically latches on to the popular culture at the time, but then as they get older, they revert back to what their idealized reality is, and they grow more conservative. They distance themselves from that, and some of these guys, I'm still cool with to this day. It's no love lost if we see each other, like, hey, that's my guy. But you just, as a black man who, even though I never presented as urban, I never presented as hoodlum and all that kind of stuff. I never got into. I'm a square. I was a straight A student, went to college, all that different type of stuff. I never presented that way. However, I have to prove I'm not that way. And it's kind of like they got to choose when to stop. I just find that interesting. you know, with you know, you go from a low cut, low fade. Matter of fact, Travis Kelce, prime example of that. His whole aesthetic has changed or shifted since he's been with Taylor Swift. When he was with a black woman, he had a more urban aesthetic. The way he wore his beard, the low cut, the bling, the earrings, the necklaces, his style, his dress. He get with Taylor Swift. Now he's mustache man, more hair, kind of in a bob, a bowl. I don't know what the style is that white guys call that, but even his dress, you know, more jean jackety. I don't know why that's a thing. More jean jackety, you know, jean on jean and flannel. It must be really nice to be able to put that down. You know, it's just an interesting dynamic to me. Like, these are guys who probably can quote a Biggie song better than I could. Seth edited it, or at least around me. I'm sure they said it when they were by themselves, the N-word I'm talking about. But they could quote rap songs better than me. T.I. and Bootsy and Webby, they can quote them better than me. And now they're into George Strait and having pictures. They go out fishing every weekend. And not that these are inherently white things, but when you think white boy, you know, that's probably what you think. And it's just an interesting dynamic. It's just an interesting conversion to me. You know, some of these guys had the earrings and got the tattoos like inspired by urban culture. And now they look like the softball, the T-ball coach dad. And I know environment matters. And, you know, when they graduated from school or stopped being around the blacks as much, it wasn't as much of an influence, I guess. Maybe it was for survival. Maybe because that was cool at the time. Everybody wanted to be cool, so this is what I'm going to do to be cool. I don't know. I never had to think. See, when I was growing up, and it's funny because when I was growing up, that whole urban aesthetic, you know, in my bubble in a way, in the black community, you wanted to look like an upstanding man or a young person, you know, presentable, decent, all that kind of stuff. So we never ran to look like that. The goal was to get your kids away from looking like that. While, you know, some of these white boys clung to it hard, you know, and just their vernacular and all that different type of stuff. And I don't know, you know, and maybe because, you know, being around black people, that's what you felt like. I mean, they assimilated to us as opposed to we oftentimes have to assimilate to white culture. But it's just interesting that, you know, just by scrolling through Facebook or whatever, you like, dang, he looks like a white guy now. He definitely looks whiter than what I remember. You know, he looks like Leave It to Beaver type stuff, man. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. Like, use Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey started out on In Living Color. And I'm not saying he downplays that, but Jim Carrey's aesthetic now, and maybe back then, it worked for him because even back then, you know, he would imitate like Vanilla Ice and do some of the rapping and stuff like that. But, you know, you wouldn't think Jim Carrey got his start from In Living Color unless he told you. If you go back and see what In Living Color was, what type of brand of humor, entertainment that was. And now, I mean, could you catch Jim Carrey on BET? I wouldn't then again take that back. Most of us wouldn't catch ourselves on BET. I don't know what's really a good comparison, really. I mean, that's sad. But anyway, would he be on Bounce? Would he do a TV show on Bounce? Any show that Damon Wayans says he got a show now on CBS. I caught the first episode. It was decent. In case anybody want to check that out. But will he guest spot on the episode on a Damon Wayans show? They go back there and Live in Color. Or when Jamie Foxx Have they worked in any movies together? I don't know. TV since 11 Color. So and I love Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is hilarious to me. You know, Jim Carrey is a very interesting person to me. I've always found his to be a person of depth. You know, if you just listen to him seriously talk. But maybe he falls in that category too, where you assimilate when you're around it, but then once you get away from it, you know, you can go back to just being Jim or Robert or Ted, you know, Matt. You know, like, it's just so, it's definitely an observation. And I challenge you guys, if you see this, I challenge anybody to think about, if you're black, think about a white person you grew up with and how they presented back then. And if you're a white person, think about how you presented when you were in middle school or high school or early adulthood and how you present now. And then ask yourself, and if you can, because I'm genuinely interested to know in the comments, was what switched in you? Like, what is it, just you felt like you grew up, you saw it was non-productive, you got tired of the feedback around you? Because I'm sure parents and older, you know, adults play a role in, you know, what happened there. You know, what made you get into hunting and fishing when you were all about Lil Webby? I don't know. But yeah, that's just what was on my mind at the moment. I would love to hear other people's thoughts. Other people share their observations of that. You know, but from my perspective, you know, to turn that off and just, you know, not have that kind of attention on you anymore, it seems pretty nice coming from a guy who's that way till I'm showing I'm different. And now and now I don't even want to say that like it's anything wrong with being urban. You are who you are. Be proud of where you come. I'm proud of where I come from. I look how I look. I think I'm a handsome guy. I just need to sponge my hair. But, you know, but this is just me being me. I'm not, you know, this isn't me fronting as another culture and then coming back home, I guess, you know. But anyway, peace.